Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Krypto, The Last Dog of Krypton, issue number 3. I did not read issue number 2. Not a good thing. But I forgot that it came out. I didn't see it. It is what it is. So, a good thing to do since I'm not going to rush off to the freaking comic book store and I'd have to break in this early in the morning. But the idea is let's see if this book actually stacks up. Considering I read issue 1 but missed issue 2, can I still follow along? Well, for the most part, yeah. And I also don't really have to. This could be a completely standalone issue, for the most part. But I do know that Superdog had just landed on Earth, so he doesn't have his powers yet. And this issue, he's lost without any powers. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll get into it from there. So this issue is called Winter. Ryan North is the writer, Mike Norton on art, Ian Herring on colors, and Lucas Gattoni on letters. Jay Lee and Jun Chung on covers. And there's a variant cover out there also, at least one. And Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Of course we should know that stuff. But Superman isn't in this issue. Or is he? So, Krypto is lost without his powers in the middle of, it looks like freaking Canada, for crying out loud. It's probably Kansas. I've never actually been to Kansas. I don't know if it snows in Kansas or not. I would imagine, considering where it's located. But yeah, I don't know. Pine trees everywhere. It actually looks like the northern big mountains. Are there mountains in Kansas? I don't know. Honestly, I would expect Wolverine to come out naked, but with that big metal thing on his head with the Weapon X program fighting a freaking grizzly bear. That's what this imagery looks like. Anyway, so Krypto, lost, no collar, nothing, finds this little girl. Like he's trying to hunt, but he has no powers. He can't catch a deer, but he can at least catch some water. That's not moving. And he's cold and like the mitts on his feet. He must be like, oh, I'm dying here. But the cool thing is, he never gives up hope. Ah, I love that. I don't know if that was intended to be the case, but they kind of show that a little bit, maybe not enough. They really could have done that more, and more is going to be the big theme of this particular issue, this whole series, as far as I'm concerned. He finds this little girl. She's also lost. She went out exploring. We find that out later. I was positive this chick died. I was positive that she was dead. When you look at some of the scenes in here, it'll really break your heart. Because, wow. Why am I telling you that she doesn't die? Because if she died, I would say this book is not for kids. But I would absolutely give this to my kids. This is such a fun, heartwarming, hopeful, I think, story. Beautiful. And kids should absolutely read this. I don't know, they should read this. They ought to read this. But you ought to give your kids the benefit of the doubt and let them read a good comic book. And this will do it, right? Whatever their age, I think they'll enjoy this comic book. Pretty thick theme, but really beautiful at the end. Might have gotten a little bit teary during this. I'm not saying I did. I'm just saying I might have. I could have. Theoretically, it is possible I had to move my glasses aside to wipe a little wet off of my eyes. It's not my fault I live next to a freaking onion field. What are you going to do? Property's cheap out here. Anyway, if only that were the case. So, yeah. At the end of this, a thing shows up. It looks like it's young young Kal-El, he's not Clark yet, his little ship. You know, the thing with the big fists that come out. Did you guys have that toy when you were younger? I did. Where you push in the fist and then you spring load, boop, push the little button, the two fists on the ship go bam, like that. You push it back in and you go up to your friend and just right to his temple and bam! He's like, what the heck, man? Us Gen Xers had the best childhood. And then I rode my Huffy Racer off of a ramp and smashed into somebody. Anyway, so true story. The problem is this thing, it seems to be showing a Brainiac symbol on the side. I don't usually like to spoil things, right? Unless they're in issue 1. But this was really odd. And it's saying that we're not going to get nothing else until spring. So we're not going to get Krypto, the last dog of Krypton issue number 4, until spring? Until spring has sprung? That's ridiculous. I should sue. Yeah, I don't know why we're taking an entire semester off between issues, but I guess it is what it is. That's a heck of a cliffhanger to leave us on. Guys, I'm going to recommend this book just because of how beautiful it is. I didn't read issue number 2. If you did and there was something really special that I missed, let me know. And also let me know, I'm serious, let us know. Because I think that this issue should absolutely be allowed for kids to read. And there's not a lot of issues of a comic book that an adult will read and a kid will read. But I think this is one of those few issues where, both could. There have been a couple times I've handed my kids a comic book that I thought was just a pure kids comic book, but there was some, I don't know about raunchy stuff, but some really wild stuff in it. And it's like, okay, so this is, even though it's kiddie art on this, it's actually, not really meant for kids. They'll curse and say things like that. I remember Smurfs used to curse in the comic books back when I was a kid. I'm not joking. When I was like 7 years old, the Smurf would have, like, they'd be, oh, Smurf this and Smurf that. And it's like, okay, that Smurf is cursing, right? But there were times when it would actually have the, the asterisks and hashtag and all that, other, the little symbolization stuff there. And his head would get like steamy and be like, oh, yeah, the Smurf's just cursing. My dad would look at that and be like, Smurf shouldn't curse. And he'd let me read the comic book anyway and walk away. It's like, that's a good point. You know what? It's not because I'm Italian from Jersey. Nah, it's nothing like that. It's not because I grew up in bad neighborhoods. No, I cursed like a freaking sailor because of the Smurfs. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. You heard it here first. Anyway, this particular comic book, there's nothing even remotely close like that. And I mean, it's Ryan North. The guy's really intelligent. He's very creative. And again, I think he's got a really beautiful heart. All right? At least a good heart. I don't know how beautiful his heart is. I'd have to commit open heart surgery for that. And that usually comes with charges when it's, the person's still alive and it's not voluntary. Anyway, this story was really awesome. The art was fantastic in it. And like I said, it's not just the art in general, it's the artistry of it. Showing the scenes where Krypto is pulling her out and all you get to see is her feet. That was moving. It's one of those things that, like Jim Shooter taught me, you can show without saying a word. And your audience will get it if you do it right. Mike Norton in this? Guy's on my radar from now on. Because, wow, this was good. Talk to you guys later. When we talk about reading this book, read the book. I'll talk to you later anyway. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.